Each and every day, enjoy the Simple Six menu at Subway, an entire made-for-you meal featuring one of 6 6-inch sandwiches like the Italian BMT or Black Forest ham, with any bag of chips and a 21-ounce drink, all for only $6. Subway. Eat fresh.
The BS Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects. The BS Report. The BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Welcome to the BS Report. In what has become now a monthly tradition during the NFL season, we call our friend Cousin Sal after a devastating Cowboys loss. He sounds depressed. He questions humanity and God and all the things you think about as after your team gets killed in a football game in an excruciating way. And then we guess the lines. Cousin Sal, how are you?
God. Cowboys fans gave up on God in the mid-'80s, I think.
Yeah, sorry about that.
God. I just hate it. I don't know. Go ahead. Lead me into this disaster again.
Well, it was kind of amazing to watch because the announcers, I think it was Dick Stockton and Brian Billick.
That's exactly what it was, and they were awful. But go ahead.
Well, they seem to have just given the game to the Cowboys, and then the holding penalty happened, and they're talking about whether it should be declined or not. And they didn't even realize that it was like one of the giant biggest gifts that a team could get in the last 2 minutes. Like the game's basically over if the holding penalty doesn't happen. Of course they're going to decline it because they're going to get the ball back with over a minute left. I can't remember a team blowing that last 2 minutes. Just kneel down 3 times and punt. What are you doing?
Well, that's the whole thing. You know what? I don't even mind kicking the field goal. We started that possession at the 31, and Bailey's on fire. He doesn't miss anything. So if we gain 0, it's a 48-yard field goal. So if you do a quarterback sneak, just not where you lean back, 3 yards back. If you just for a 0-yard quarterback sneak on 4th down, you kick the field goal. All right. That said, you should be able to run 3 times. The holding call on the running out the clock is just something bizarre. Even Cowboy fans haven't seen. I mean, Tyron has been great for us, but how do you hold on a run out the clock play? It's ridiculous.
Was it a legitimate hold?
It was a legitimate hold. It was, but so what? Let him gain nothing. Who cares? What are you holding for? Let him sit down. Is that the point? But the other thing is, why does the clock stop? So they take the play. Now, if you take the play, I think the clock should run. I don't know. That's just obviously it's because we got screwed by this. But
I always said a penalty stops it.
What's that? Yeah, but they didn't take the penalty, so I don't know why.
I see what you're saying. You should have to take the penalty to get the clock stopped.
Yeah, if you're taking the penalty, then the clock stops. If you're not, then it should be however the play ended up. But the problem is there's a lot of problems, and it's, as soon as you see a stat like 54 teams have had a +4 turnover margin, and 53 of them have won. That to me says coaching. If you're on the other side of that, that's Jason Garrett, and that's our 73-year-old defensive coordinator. Who's, really like. You give up 4 weeks of 400+ pass yardage passes. It's just never been done before. I don't think he's familiar with the forward pass. He's like, hey, well, what's this? He's just a very old man. So,
well, I'm glad you brought this up because 6 receivers now have caught at least 100 yards against the Cowboys in one game. And then you made history. You're the first NFL team that's ever allowed 4 different quarterbacks to throw for at least 400 yards in the same season. And there's half of a season left. So that's exciting.
And we have Breeze and Rodgers on the docket. So that's going to be 6 right there. And to me, the greatest is we gave up 265 yards in the 4th quarter. I'm pretty sure we had the ball 4 times. It's one thing if you had the ball twice in the 4th quarter. We had the ball 4 times and gave up 265 yards in the 4th quarter. So, I don't know.
Since 2010, only Miami has had more losses by 3 points or fewer than the Cowboys.
Yeah. It's disgusting. It is disgusting after a while. And
it's frustrating. The Pats haven't really been victimized by that crazy Lions offense yet, which is basically just throw the ball up for grabs for Calvin Johnson and he goes and catches it. I mean, what is that like when you're on the other side of that? Because it just seems like they do that 2 times a game now and it works.
Oh, it's terrific. And, our worst, Wilcox, our safety, was inactive. And I was like, great, that's fine. Put anyone back there. But it's funny. Even if you have like 3 or 4 games experience, it's better than having a guy come off the practice squad and just kill you in the secondary. But it didn't really matter where they threw to him. And the hat goes off to Stafford, even though I think he could have been the biggest goat of the week. If that, I know the answer to this is yes, then it was the right decision because he snuck it in from 1 yard away. But that's the wrong call. That's just you're guaranteed 3 plays with 12 seconds left, and he's taking it. They don't get another play if he's stopped. If Sean Lee stands up the last second. And,
he saw something though, because when he kind of faked them out with the whole we're going to spike it thing, and the Cowboys obviously weren't ready for it.
I know.
So a couple other things from yesterday. The Patriots game, the guy hits the uprights. Dolphins are up 17-3. Crowd's dead. Pats look awful. 46-yard field goal from the kicker who's been money all season, and it's just straight. Hits the upright. All of a sudden, the Pats are up 7. It was like it just flipped the game. The Pats would have been down 17. I actually think they would have lost that game. The Bills-Saints game, the Saints might be really good because the Bills were kind of hanging around, and the Saints just have a way. They get these big-ass plays, and they just do it game after game after game, and it rips your guts out. Are there 3 teams you like more than the Saints right now?
Seattle, San Fran, Denver, I would say tied with the Saints. But I
like the Saints more than Denver, I think.
You do? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a similar team, though. They just, eventually they're going to get to you. And but this Kenny Stills, just way, way too many weapons. And when Graham's playing, even at 50%, it seems like a major, major advantage for them. And that Kenny Vaccaro, I think we're going to lose our bet. He's the defensive rookie of the year. He's in on every play on defense. So
yeah, he's been good.
They're fun to watch.
I like the way the Saints are. I just like what they're doing week after week, and also watching that Denver game yesterday. I know Manning put up big stats, but every pass was 5 yards or shorter than 5 yards. It was just dink and dunk, dink and dunk, dink and dunk. He looks banged up. He's not throwing the ball downfield really at all. And first of all, that's going to hurt you against cold weather, in the cold weather, as the Patriots have found out the last 4 years. You can't think and dunk. And then on top of that, the cold weather thing, it's a real thing. I don't believe in that Broncos team.
The only thing I'll say about them is this. No Sean Marino. Now, if you're going back to fantasy football, you're thinking, Ball is maybe a 4th-round pick, or Hillman. I don't know who they're starting. Everyone gave up on No Sean Marino. He seems to run as hard as anyone. Maybe Marshawn Lynch runs harder. He gets some tough yards in there. He'll slide for 7 yards and save them on a 3rd and 2 when the underneath isn't available or something. So he's playing on 2 sprained ankles. Peyton.
He looks banged up.
If you compare him to the Chiefs, and I guess we'll know more in 2 weeks when they play in Denver, and then they play in another 2 weeks after that in KC. But compare them to the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are a 5-3, 6-2 team, and I think the Broncos are a 7-1 team right now, just like they are. But
yeah, and we always say this: the first 8 weeks is the preseason, basically. Now, November is when you start to figure out who's good, and the only thing you can do in September and October is screw your season up. Which, for instance, Atlanta screwed their season.
Yeah.
And there's probably no coming back for them. But you just kind of want to be hanging around when it gets into November, December. I think I wrote on Friday there were 5 teams that I felt like were in the Super Bowl circle, which meant 3 spots were open. The Packers looked good last night, although it's hard to know how bad that Minnesota team is. But you look at the possible teams that might come on, or teams that might be a little bit better than maybe we're giving them credit for. I think the Bengals now, coming off that Jets game, maybe they've moved into the circle. I'm also interested in to see what happens with the Chargers.
Yeah,
I like the Chargers team.
Cincinnati, if they win at Miami and they're all of a sudden 7-2, I think you give that a little confidence. They're right up there, maybe top of the second echelon. But who else today? Chargers.
I think the Chargers are in play possibly, and maybe I can't believe I'm saying it, but maybe Carolina.
Yeah.
They play Atlanta again this week. Hey, you want to play Atlanta any week coming into this week. Matt Ryan got really banged up last week, and it does seem like there's going to be at least that 6th seed in the NFC is going to be up for grabs. Seattle and San Francisco and New Orleans are probably the 3 best teams in the league. But
Yeah, I want to believe in Carolina, but the last three, Minnesota, St. Louis, and Tampa Bay, it is hard to get a gauge on some of these. Some of these teams, it seems like they played a block of bad teams in a row here, and the record reflects that. But they're at San Fran next week, and like you said, home against Atlanta. They could be
good. The other
good.
thing is the 3 seed in the AFC is going to be really important because you're going to avoid either Denver or KC in round one.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the NFC, if you get that fall down to that 4 seed, which is obviously going to be NFC East, we might have another situation where it's either Seattle or San Francisco going into Dallas or Washington or the Giants or wherever the hell wins that crappy division. Right. And they're favored by like 8.5, 9, or 10.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I could see it. And then the next week they would theoretically play Seattle. So you'd have San Fran and Seattle in the second week of the playoffs. It'd be interesting.
Can I read you an email from my friend Hershey, who's a Giants fan?
Sure, yeah.
Tell Sal we're 2 out, with Dallas still having to come to our house. We're doing all we can for them. We spotted them an 0-6 start.
You know, that's the first thing I think about. Not Hershey, but that the fact that we're opening the door for Tom Coughlin here. Like, how can we do this again? How dare we do this Cowboy team? Haven't they learned their lesson? But so the Giants have 6 losses. So I figure if they have 3 more, that's got to be it, right? So
yeah, I looked at their schedule, and it's not easy.
They have Green Bay, Seattle, and at Detroit still on their schedule. And
this will cheer you up.
Yeah.
Can we do Mike and the Doc? This will cheer you up a little bit.
Let's do it. All right.
Bye week 9.
Mike, every team deserves a bye. These guys play hard. They get injured. You can't argue with that.
Hey, Doc, they have 3 straight games at home.
Go ahead.
Home against Oakland week 10.
Win.
Home against Green Bay Sunday night. NBC.
I'm not about to give them a W there, Mike. The defense got to show me a little more. I'm sorry.
Home for Dallas week 12.
That's a win. That's always a win. I don't care. I don't care who's running the ball for the Giants. They win that game. Go ahead.
At Washington Sunday, December 1st, week 13.
You know, one of these games, Washington is going to do something to surprise us. This is not the game they lose. They change their name after that game. Go ahead. What else?
Week 14, at San Diego. That's a tough one, Doug. I like the Chargers.
Boy, Mike. Mike, did you just swallow a can of Diet Coke? Did I just witness that? That's a win for the Giants. Go ahead.
A win for the Giants. Wow, Doug. Eli Manning coming back to San Diego. Do you want to play that, Doug?
That's true. I forgot about the emotion, Mike. You're such a smart guy, Mike. Thank you.
Week 15, home for Seattle. That's a loss. That's a loss, Doug. That's a loss.
I put that in. I agree with you, Mike. You're a smart man. That is a loss. Seattle will still need that game to win the division, everything else.
Week 16, at Detroit. Detroit playing for a playoff spot. I don't like that. I don't like that matchup at all for them, Doug.
Basically, Mike, this game, mark it on the calendar, December 22nd, after the 21st and before the 23rd. That could be a huge game, huge implications for both teams. I'm going to say Detroit. I think that's a Giants' ninth loss.
And then week 17, Washington, who will be thrown away this season, and probably RG3 will be watching that game on crutches.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. I don't think that game matters. I think Tom Coughlin's red face falls off, and they go 7-9.
Doug, 7-9 seems ambitious.
Yeah, it does. I'm breaking out of character here.
All right, break out of character. 7-9 is ambitious for that schedule.
Right. And I think the Cowboys, the jerks, if they would have had 5 wins, and then they wouldn't have had a win on the road the rest of the way. If you win Thanksgiving versus Oakland, what else? Home against Minnesota this week, and then home against Philly the last game of the season, whoever's the quarterback.
So you just need to get to 8 wins, it looks like. And you got Minnesota, that's a win. You have Oakland on Thanksgiving, that's got to be a win, unless Terrell Pryor does something nuts. And then you finish with at Washington and home for Philly.
Yeah, home for Philly.
Those should be wins, too.
We blow so many games. How can I even say it's even Thanksgiving to win? Terrell Pryor runs for 90 yards in the first play. We'll probably be done.
You have that Monday night, week 14, against that suddenly crappy Bears team. I can't imagine you're not getting to 8-8. Come on.
Is he back? I was trying to figure out if Cutler's back by that. I think it's close.
So your worst case scenario is this week Peterson comes in and rushes for like 280 yards.
Yeah.
Followed by at New Orleans, and suddenly you're 4-6.
And then it's 4-6 at the bye. Yeah, well, you wrote about the zigzag with the with the Cowboys, and I think that's exactly what they have to do. 5-5, 6-5, 6-6. All the way through.
I kept my streak alive of yet again picking a winner that didn't cover. I think I've had 20 of those this year. It's just not my year. Yeah, not my year.
Cowboys are 7-1 against the spread, and they've done that twice now where they've lost the covered. Sure.
Just once this season, I want to sneak out a win that I shouldn't have had. I just want to know what that feels like because it hasn't happened since like December.
Well, hold on. Did you have the Patriots? I mean, that was a spectacular.
No, I had the Dolphins. Dolphins, and they should have been up 23. That should have been a 3-point line. I don't know why we were given 7, but the Brandon Gibson injury really hurt Miami. I thought he was important for them. I actually picked him up in fantasy this week. I thought he made plays, especially around the goal line for them, and that didn't help them. And I got to say, like, as somebody who felt like the Pats got screwed a week ago, we got every call yesterday. It was really like the entire game was a makeup game. The play where they called the guy for batting the ball forward illegally, like he was just trying to catch it. He was trying to pull it in and he accidentally hit it. He wasn't batting it at all. I thought that was a really, really terrible call. And there was there's a really big pass interference on Gronkowski in the first quarter when Brady was, from a confidence standpoint, was really shaky. That I don't even know what they were thinking. There was like 5 terrible calls against Miami, but very happy to take all of them.
Well, they were all those calls. But let me just before we go to the games, you did call me during that game. You were a head case, I guess. Well, let me just play the call.
I went to a dark place yesterday around 11 o'clock.
Very dark
Pacific
place.
time. I did.
Cousin Sal, sports guy here. I'm actually doing a keg stand while I call you. Suffering through this Pats game, and then a few hours from now, another Sox series heart attack game. Then I fly out to St. Louis for Game 5 and a big old booty call with my soulmate, Joshy Washy Pudding Pop, hustle and bustle man Muscle Wilson. Watch as he slaughters the St. Louis Lambs. I still can't believe last night's baseball game. Obstructed runner, my ASS. You know what, umpires? Obstruct this. You can't see, but I'm currently holding up my middle finger with a very serious face on my face. Anyway, it was looking miserable for my Pats, down 17-3 at half. Tom Brady's hand was so swollen, it could have run for governor of New Jersey. Fat joke. Now, beginning of the fourth quarter, Pats up 2017, and what? Tannehill back to pass. He tosses it down the sidelines. What's this? Devin McCourty knocks it back. No look pick. The Marquise caught. Intercepted. That should wrap it up. All game. You can't defend McCourty in Cole's 2-man game. Now, if you excuse me, Jalen and I are going to preview the shit out of them and 753 other 2-man football tip duos that would be better served in the NBA. Sports guy. Over and out. Savo Cephalosha.
Wait. Oh, I'm a cough like this. That's great.
Can I ask you for your unbiased take on the obstruction call?
Yeah. I think it should have been. I would have liked it if it were more emphatically called by the third base umpire. I know it's a stupid thing. As soon as you see the ball sail by third base, so close to the stands, you think this guy's going to score unless he falls. So he did fall, but it really didn't seem like third baseman didn't try to get out of the way. Now, whether that matters or not, I don't know. But I really wish the third base umpire would have been pointing emphatically, and then I would have felt better about it. It just seemed like they were hoping that the ball was dropped at home, so they didn't have to make the call, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to be objective about it, and I do feel like if the roles were reversed and that had been the Red Sox and the guy fell down, our guy, and they didn't call it, I would have lost my mind.
Yeah.
But the whole thing was weird. Like he was running on the very, very inside of the baseline, right? And not the normal part of the baseline. And then I'm not really sure what Middlebrooks is supposed to do. Like he was trying to get up to get out of the guy's way. And if you lie on your stomach, you have to kick your legs to get up like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what he was supposed to do.
If he gets up, I think he trips him up even further, right? If he does a push up and gets to his knees and everything, what do you have to do? Like crawl forward? I don't know what he was supposed to do, but I guess it is obstruction if you go by the letter of the law. So you're in good shape. You like your chances now.
I'm okay with the call. I really felt like we blew that game and we didn't deserve to win, and the baseball gods decided, and then it evened out yesterday. It's been I tweeted yesterday the World Series is on drugs this year. It's just a really goofy, ridiculous World Series so far. You wouldn't call any of these games well played.
Right. Yeah, I would like to see a nice, 1-1 game into the sixth, and nothing stupid happens in the 7 days of night tonight.
You'll be happy to know I've worked up a healthy amount of animosity toward this Cardinals team.
You have?
Yeah.
How
it's
so?
Like, well, look, it's baseball and it happens, but the amount of crappy guys they have on this team who make plays for them is really like way above the limit. Right? It's like Descalso and Wong and all these, John Jay, all these, the Molina brother, all these guys are coming up, and I know Molina's a little better than those guys, but it's frustrating because it feels like we're going through the lineup. The only guy I'm afraid of is Matt Holliday. I feel like we can get every other guy in the team out. They have 2 pitchers that scare me. They have 2 relievers that scare me. And Alan Craig on one leg kind of scares me. So there's 6 guys in the entire team who scare me. And somehow we're down 2-1 in the World Series.
You could pitch around Beltrán, but
Beltrán doesn't really scare me for some reason. I'm sure that's going to come back to haunt me, and people are going to tweet that at me a million times. But I always feel like we can pitch to him. Like Holiday is terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Jacoby, if you're listening on the other end, please isolate the Beltrán doesn't really scare me anymore. See if we can keep that for next Monday's podcast.
Well, he's hurt. Hopefully he's playing hurt. He bruised his ribs.
I know.
Hey, listen, it's not like the Red Sox are world beaters either, but at least it would be so tough to lose the World Series on the obstruction call and then falling behind 3-1 because Buchholz ran out of gas for whatever reason. And it was nice to win that one yesterday. I really would have been upset today.
No, it's good. It's fair that it's 2-2.
It's fair. It seems like it's the right thing. I went to game 2.
Oh, you were there, right? Yeah.
Poppy hit the homer, and it was like just a celebration, just phenomenal. Like just Fenway Park, just big party, and then nobody saw the Breslow inning coming. Breslow's been good all year.
Right.
And he was nervous you could see it. He just didn't have it, and it just fell apart, and people were just cold and freaked out for the rest of the game. It was weird.
Speaking of cold, you're cold now going to these big events, right? You're sort of a losing streak.
I am cold. Yeah. I go back to Boston and the teams lose, so I'm not going back anymore. Speaking of cold, let's do the Week 9 lines because I'm still not warm picking games.
Let's do it. I'm 4-3-1 against you through 8 weeks. 6 teams again on buys. You know what? I like it. I like having only 6 games to watch Sunday early afternoon. But Arizona, Denver, Detroit, Jacksonville, Giants, and San Francisco are on buys. Thursday night, Cincinnati at Miami.
I like this game. I'm excited for this game. And I think Miami can still save their season. I'm not convinced that that's a mediocre team yet. I feel like they've had bad luck this year. And the Bengals, this is, everybody's blowing them right now. I have Bengals by 3.5.
All right, I got this one exactly. I said 3, and it is 3. And it'll be good. I think, Miami just seems to have almost as much trouble as my team closing others out. But
they're in all these games, and the record will show that they lost to the Pats by 10, but they were in that game too, and they at least should have been down 7. They screwed up. They got the block field goal and a field goal that hits the upright.
It's not going to win your game. Yeah. I'll tell you, that Danielle Ellerby, I love him. He played on the Ravens last year, 11 tackles yesterday. Look out for him with Miami. He can maybe bring him back.
Yeah, I like Miami. I feel like they're underrated. I mean, they're one of the reasons why my picks have been so bad this year because I keep believing in them and they keep screwing me. But I don't mind that team.
All right, let's go Sunday, Minnesota, Dallas. Get it over with.
We should mention this is the Sunday early slate is the worst of the year. And if there's ever a time to win points with your wife or girlfriend by going apple picking or looking at foliage or whatever they want to do with you on a Sunday afternoon East Coast or Sunday morning West Coast, this is the weekend.
I think you're right. I'm looking at it now. There's not one.
It's horrible. It's a horrible slate. I have the Cowboys by 9.5.
Watch, this will be the game of the week, Cowboys and Vikings. You're going to get it. I said 9, and it's 10.5. So we're tied 1-1.
I think it's interesting. Minnesota has ruined the confidence of two quarterbacks, and I think they go for Castle this week. Just go for the hat trick.
You think that's what they're going to do?
I think they should. I'd like to see. Then you'd have 3 bummed out guys who are your quarterbacks. Maybe
they should just trade for Des Bryant. He could quarterback, and then he won't have to complain about getting the ball. He'll have to fall on every snap.
That'd be interesting.
Atlanta, Carolina.
Falcons are done, and they should have been done 2 weeks ago. And the freaking Bucs are so terrible they couldn't put the knife in their back. I had trouble with this one because I don't know if Vegas believes the Falcons are done yet. I have the Panthers by 6.
Yeah, you get this one. I said 5. I went even lower, and it's 7.5.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a very fair line.
All right, let's consider that two-team teaser. Let's just
please, whatever you do, don't let me tease the Ron Rivera and Cam Newton. Please.
No, I think we may. Please. All right. Well, there's another.
I'm begging you. Don't let me do it. Don't, please, God. Don't let me do it.
We don't need to because we have one right here. New Orleans at the Jets. We have this as a good teaser game.
Oh, that's a nice one. I have that Saints by 7.
I got this one exactly at 6. So
I had 6 and changed my mind.
There you go. Saints is one team. We need another one. Tennessee at St. Louis.
Saints line's a little low. I think that climbs.
The Saints line? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one climbs.
So I have to grab it now.
Tennessee at St. Louis, I had the most trouble with of any line maybe all season. I just have no idea. Anything you say will not surprise me here. I have the Titans by 1.5.
All right, you're closer than me. I had an even bigger problem because I had St. Louis by 1, and it's Titans by 3. So you get that one.
Not surprised.
I don't know. I thought they haven't played since September. I don't even know how to gauge them anymore. But they're both 3-14. So
I have no feel this season in general, but especially with those two teams.
Oh God, yeah. KC at Buffalo. 8-0 against 3-5.
KC, the last 2 weeks, the line has been suspiciously low, and you would text me like about a half hour before the game and talk about what an obvious bet the Chiefs are. And each time they didn't cover.
The Browns were a muff punt away from it, maybe even winning, right? And they would have had good field position at the 45 with about 6 minutes left, and they were moving the ball. It was an interesting game.
I have a serious question for you.
Yeah.
Was Jason Campbell not terrible in that game yesterday, or am I crazy?
I don't think he was bad. He showed, the pocket would collapse as it does for Bleeding and everybody else. I mean, he was pretty stoic back there. He was doing a good job. And he would have scrambling ability. I think he gets better. Let's say trade Josh Gordon. Do you want Josh Gordon or Larry Fitzgerald? I mean, if it means the Patriots get to the conference championship, you would want one of those two, right?
Here's my thing. Well, first of all, I don't think Arizona's going to trade Fitzgerald because now they're 4-4 and they're feeling pretty good about themselves. Why would they trade him
but they're still in the NFC West. If they open a newspaper and see the standings.
I would overpay for Larry Fitzgerald. Brady's got 3 years left. Mm-hmm. And then it's like that. It's going to be like a house of cards that collapses. And then Belichick probably leaves too. Like, this is the window. I'm never a fan of try to win short term over long term. But if there was ever a time to do it, it's right now. They have a guy who, even though he's not been playing like this the last 2 months, is still Tom Brady. And if you can get Larry Fitzgerald for Aaron Dobson in your first round pick this year, you do it.
Right.
Maybe that's not enough.
I was just going to say the same thing. Like, if you're not going to do that, you're basically hoping that Dobson is ready for like 2015. I don't know. That's a stretch. But I would get one of those too. All right, Casey at Buffalo.
I don't feel like the AFC is good enough this year for the Pats to look at this and say, well, we probably don't have a chance. Like, I know it'd be easy to check out without Mayo and without Vince, but their defense isn't any better or worse than Denver's defense. And the AFC is going to come down to who outscores who, who wins the 38-34 game in mid-January. And I wish they would go get Fitzgerald. I know they won't, though.
going to be interesting to see if Belichick needs to challenge his team even more. But I would make a free agent sign.
By the way, Josh Gordon might be like fantastic, and we don't even realize it because he's never had a quarterback.
Yeah.
It does seem like he's open all the time, right?
It does. He looks like he's lazy and open, and when he wants to play, he could be like a top 3 or 4 receiver in the league.
Right. He seems like when he gets fired up, he's just open for a solid quarter straight.
I mean, I don't even know if our buddies are rooting for the Browns to win anymore because of draft picks or whatever, but and Cincinnati seems to be running away with the division, but they must have been ecstatic when Gordon put up big numbers yesterday, even if they're, just to dangle him out there this week.
They're in a weird spot because what are they, 3-5 now?
Yeah.
3 and really, if you gave them a top 12, like just put Phil Rivers on that team, they're 6-2.
Sure.
Just even if you give them the 12th best quarterback in football, they're 6-2 right now. Their quarterback position has single-handedly lost them 3 games.
Yeah, I agree. But I think if they sign the Ohio State kid who's got a rocket, they're going to be good. Everyone will be off their back for a second, and then Braxton Miller, you get Braxton Miller jerseys, he'll be number 3 in the country.
2014 is going to be the year of draft type between the NBA and the NFL.
You think so?
But there's going to be 8 quarterbacks in the first round in the NFL, and it's the best. It's probably the best draft since 1985 in the NBA. It's the best draft in 29 years. Yeah, teams are going to be tanking their asses off.
Well, you should write about something like that, the NBA.
Maybe I will. I should.
All your eggs in this NFL basket. It's spread out a little bit.
Let's keep going.
We can't even get through this KC Buffalo game.
Oh, we're not done yet?
Yeah, you have to pick a line.
Should I pick one of the 2 teams?
Yeah, take a number. Yeah, for the
I have the Chiefs. I had trouble with this one too. I just have trouble. I'm just struggling. Chiefs by 3.5.
Wow, that's right on. And I had the Chiefs by 7. Well, why are they giving 3.5? I'm furious at this line. I don't know who I'm mad at, but I know I'm mad because if I take the Chiefs giving 3.5, which is a low number for an 8-0 team to give a 3-5 team, that they're not going to cover. And if I take the Bills plus 3.5, they're going to get slaughtered. So I'm mad at My mindset was Chiefs by 6.5 and then take away 3 points because that's what Vegas seems to be doing every week with them. Right.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
I got to say the Bills, I like their front 7.
Sure.
I think they can move the ball and make plays. Thad Lewis got banged up early in that game yesterday. He took a really hard hit. It was it was never quite the same after that. They can move the ball. I don't mind the Bills.
I like them too, and they always seem those home games especially. They're in it to the last possession, but that this goes to show you what kind of 8-0 team Kansas City is if they're only given a field goal and a half. San Diego at Washington, last of the early Sunday games.
And this is like San Diego, if they're good, you got to take care of business in this one. You just have to. And I think they might be good. I have San Diego by 3.
Wow. I hit this one exactly. Washington by 1.
Really?
Well, you love San Diego.
I do.
How many road wins do they have? They don't have too much.
I don't care. Did you watch that Redskins game yesterday? That team can't even tackle. It was seriously one of the 5 worst tackling teams I've ever seen in my life. Denver, they were throwing 2-yard passes, and the guys were just running forward and avoiding tackles.
Mm-hmm.
It was embarrassing. Their defense stinks.
I just think of what San Diego did on the road at Oakland. They just lost by 10. But, yeah, all right, yeah.
That was a weird game, though. That was the game that started at 11 o'clock East Coast time.
Right.
I'm not holding that game against them. And then the other one, they lost to the Titans in the last play. I think the Chargers might be good.
West Coast to East Coast doesn't bother you? Right.
No, you know what bothers me is the fact that nobody in Washington could tackle.
Yeah, that's true. So the Congress, the white at nobody. Philly and Oakland. We got late afternoon.
Holy smokes! Could the Raiders be 5-4? Is that possible?
No,
are they 4-4 right now?
They're 3-4. They're 3-4 now, right?
Are you sure? They're 3-4?
I think so. Raiders? Yeah, 3-4.
So they could be 4-4.
Mm-hmm.
We have their under. That's not good.
Oh yeah, we definitely have their under.
That's not good. Could you remind me not to make any future bets next year?
How are we wrong on both the Raiders and Jets? Like, how are those both have a chance to be 500 halfway through the season?
How did we look at the Raiders, Jets, and Jaguars for 2 solid weeks and then target the 2 teams that weren't going to be the 0-16 team? All we did was talk about those 3 teams for 2 solid weeks, and then we picked the wrong team. We're terrible.
I know.
It's like a public service we're doing for people just to go against us.
Oh, man.
I have the Raiders giving 3.5 at home to the Eagles.
All right. Now, I was thinking the same thing. I said Raiders by 2.5. I'm seeing Philly by 3. How is that? When the Raiders
it's in Oakland, right?
Yeah, it's in Oakland.
That's not right.
I got to check.
You sure it's not a mistake?
I have to make sure.
I'm looking at I'll go in the sports book quickly.
Well, they were the ones that didn't have it, but I'm seeing now Philly 2.5. Yeah, Philly 2.5.
That's illogical. The Raiders are actually good at home. All right, well, we both had the same guess anyway,
good.
so it doesn't matter.
That. All right, Tampa Bay and Seattle.
Oh, boy. Oh, no.
Yeah.
I don't like this either. I went 17.5 for Seattle.
Oh, that was pretty good. I said 20 because screw it. They're an awful team, Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
But it is 17. You got it right.
Okay.
So it's 5-4 you lead going into the 10th game. Let me just say this. I looked this up. Weeks that Tampa Bay and Jacksonville have both played, there have been 6 of them because they both had a bye in separate weeks. 4 times, both of them didn't cover. 2 times they split. So if you're patient and just bet against Tampa and Jacksonville against the spread, you're going to make money. Why this gambling thing is so easy? That's all you have to do. Target those 2 teams.
Tampa is an atrocity.
Yeah. No good.
With talent.
Baltimore, Cleveland.
Oh. This is one of my favorite under the radar games of the year. Every time Baltimore goes to Cleveland, I always enjoy these. I have the Ravens by 2.5, and I think I hit that exact.
You were closer than me. I couldn't pull the trigger on 3. I went to 2, and it is 3. And I think Cleveland's better. They could have won. They're winning, I think, through 3 quarters last time these 2 played.
Didn't Baltimore get some guys back, though? Aren't they getting guys back?
Who did they get? Are those guys, is it Ray Lewis and Jamal Lewis? I don't care.
Good point. Good point. I think the Browns are better, too.
Yeah. Maybe that's our teaser. Browns +9.
I'm not putting Jason Campbell in a tease unless you're holding a gun to me.
All right, I may have to. Pittsburgh at New England.
Pats by 6.5. I think I hit it.
I got it exactly. They pulled the trigger on 7. So it is now 6-5. You lead. Yeah, that's Steelers. I didn't like that. I mean, after that prior run, they were woozy for 3 quarters. I don't know if they're built for the road anymore.
2-5 Steelers. You almost might. You wouldn't trade Roethlisberger before tomorrow, right? You keep him.
For who?
Would you trade Roethlisberger before tomorrow?
Before tomorrow. So he said for Portamalo. I'd have been like, wow, is this a Samoan player I'm not familiar with? No, I don't think they can. I think Tomlin goes before Roethlisberger.
Oh, interesting.
Indy at Houston, Sunday night. I was way off here.
Would you trade him to Chicago for 2 first-round picks and Jay Cutler?
Well, Cutler, is he up this year? His contract's up like in a few weeks, right?
I know, but you got to get a quarterback back.
Yeah. Wow, that's a good fit for them.
Jay Cutler and 2 first-round picks for Ben Roethlisberger.
2 first-round picks?
2 first-round picks. I want 2 for Ben Roethlisberger.
They're not going to trade. You can't. I don't think these 34-year-olds can get 2 first-round picks anymore, right? How old is he?
He's not 34.
What is he, 31, 32?
He's not 34. Hold on, I'm going to look it up. He is...
no, he's not 34.
There's no way he's 34. I think he's 30.
All right, he's 31.
He's 31.
And 32 in March. And then the following March will be 33. And then it just keeps going. I don't know.
Would you trade a first and a second in Cutler for him?
Yeah, maybe. A Bears first would be good.
I'm gonna ask Robert Mays, the only Bears fan I know, right as we're doing this podcast.
I don't think he would. I'm gonna guess he would. Indy at Houston.
We both like this Indy team.
Yeah.
We should have bet the Andrew Luck MVP bet. I knew it.
Give me some Andrew the Giant. Come on. Let me set you up here. We take you now, coming off a bye week, the legendary, the eighth wonder of the world, Andrew the Giant. And Andrew, this week, tough test at Houston, division rival. Are you ready for it?
Well, we got to go out there, and Houston's a division rival. We got to take them very seriously, and that's a very good team. I don't care what their record is.
How was that?
Thank you, Andrew the Giant. We look forward to your message. I love that. That's so ridiculous.
He's the deepest voice in the NFL. I wish I could buy his voice on eBay. I would have it right now.
I know. James Earl Jones is bad.
I have the Colts by 4.5. I'm going straight on Vegas zone for this one.
All right. Well, I thought I had it in the zones also. It's at 5.5. It's 2.5.
What?
Yep.
That's
off
the dumbest
5,
thing
10 days, 2 weeks to rest of it for Case Keenum and prepare. And somehow I think I like Houston here. I don't know why.
I like that Case Keenum. Kalanum.
Yeah, you got it. You got it right.
I think, are we sure he's playing, though? Because I feel like if Schaub is the starter, then this line should move 3 points.
I don't think they should start Schaub. They would consider bringing the starter back. That's dumb. Not in today's NFL.
I like that Case, man.
Torn ankle ligaments trying to play. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Monday night. Another bad one. ESPN should throw in an extra $200 million a year just to get good games on Monday night. I would add that to the deal. Here's an extra $200 million.
They've had a bad run of quarterbacks here. They had your boy Josh Freeman last week, Kellen Clemens this week, McCown next Monday, and then the following Monday, Mike Lennon. So,
next week is Tampa on Monday night?
Yeah, I mean next.
Oh boy,
2 weeks from today. Yeah.
That's very unfair.
Yeah.
I have the Packers by 8.5.
Oh, you're going to win anyway, right? I had the Packers by 10 because why not? They're scoring 1 million points a game. It is 8, in fact. So you win. You ended up killing me. 8-5, and it's 4-1 after 9 weeks now.
I'm coming back, making my run. This is my time of the year, late October.
I don't like it. Let me just plug a couple things.
Please do.
Jimmy Kimmel Live, Dak Shepard tonight, Kelly Rowland, and small pools. Later in the week, Jen Garner, David Arquette, Arcade Fire, Ben Kingsley, Mindy Kaling, and Rob Zombie. And my Grantland blog, finally, 3-0 with my prop bet, and 4-0 if Kellen Clemens throws over a half an interception, and he will tonight. There you go.
Red Sox minus 20 to win the World Series. Cardinals even.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And then, they said like 26 out of 40 that win in Game 5 after 2-2. It should be more than that, shouldn't it?
I hate those stats. Those stats are confusing. After Game 3, it's like only 2 teams have lost Game 3 and won the World Series since the whatever. It's like, all right, whatever.
I bet if we look those up, they're all wrong. They're just at this point counting on us not to do any research. Like, all right, fine. But
it does feel like this series is headed toward. If there was ever a series that's set up for some sort of catastrophic mistake to decide the title, it's this series. It's all the tea leaves are pointing toward that happening. Something horrible happening in Game 7.
I would have said if you would have lost yesterday, I would have said Wainwright's a lock to close you out tonight at home. But now I don't know. Now I like the Red Sox tonight.
I have Halloween on Thursday, a possible Game 7 on Thursday, my son's birthday on Friday, and our first NBA show on Friday.
Oh, that's good.
That is going to be quite a 24 hours, and then son's birthday party on Saturday. I'm gonna
inject some mono into your decaf macchiato, whatever it's called, and see how this plays out.
Now, there's a really good chance of bronchitis for me by Sunday. I'm thinking like Sunday morning.
It'll give Andrew the Giant a new voice. I like that.
Last thing, quick. Did you see Hell in the Cell?
I didn't see it. I read the results. You got it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to watch the World Series at the same time as Hell in the Cell because my son was.
What time are you watching, like, Homeland? You don't watch the zombies, right?
Oh, yesterday I was up till 1 o'clock watching TV last night.
Wow.
I got to say, I've known my son now for 6 years. He turns 6 next week. He's my little man.
Right.
I've never, ever seen him more excited ever in his entire life than when John Cena came out for Hell in a Cell yesterday.
Really?
He just went absolutely bonkers, ape crazy, and the whole match was screaming, and it was just fantastic.
But wait a minute, he's a Punk fan, and I'm looking at a picture now of Punk on top of the cage hitting Paul Heyman with a kendo stick.
Well, don't think he wasn't excited for that too. He loves them both, but I think he was just excited to have Cena back. He missed Cena. It's tough. You have a favorite wrestler, and the guy goes away for 2 months.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it was a controversial ending. And then I gave them the heads up that the Shawn Michaels super kick was coming to knock out Daniel Bryan.
You did?
For the Randy Orton pin. And then my kids were confused how I knew that. And I had to explain to them that wrestling storylines are pretty cyclical.
Right. Guys are not allowed to turn bad every 6 weeks.
Yeah, anytime there's a guest referee, odds are the guest referee is going to get involved here.
Yeah, he had to change it hard. He was so fair all his life. And then, I don't know, part of the crowd with the black and white.
It's funny. My daughter, who's very moral, it's the one side of wrestling that confuses her when people turn on people. She's always like, so but I don't understand. Why did he turn on Daniel Bryan like that? What did Daniel Bryan do to him? Just that she can't get the whole. Yeah, I was like, well, this is what they do in wrestling. There's nothing else to do other than have people turn on each other.
She's worried that's going to happen to her in school. Why am I talking? Maybe I shouldn't talk to Caitlin the way I did. She's going to give me a kick to the face.
Yeah, I was like, just wait till the 7th grade when you and all your friends turn on each other week after week. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be just like wrestling.
Folding chairs in the cafeteria.
No question. The Cuz, as always, good job by you.
Good job by you, Billy.
All right, before we go, we're going to call my dad, get his temperature before Game 5 World Series tonight in St. Louis. The Red Sox fought back last night, and it had the potential to be a bleak Boston sports day, and then it rallied. Let's hear what my dad thinks.
I'm doing real good, like most people in Boston, although yesterday, from Saturday to Sunday to Monday, peaks and valleys for sure, huh? Yesterday looked like Black Sunday at halftime of the Patriots game.
Yesterday was grim. I went to a dark place around 11 o'clock Pacific time. It really seemed like, until that guy's field goal hit the upright, it really seemed like we were headed for one of the worst days in the history of Boston sports.
Yeah,
I was fully prepared for it.
It looked, the announcers, and they had this camera showing Brady's right hand, the backside of it all swollen.
I didn't like that.
And then our right tackle goes down with a broken leg, and
that was horrible. That was one of the worst Patriot injuries ever.
Yeah, it's a bad
because they had the microphones turned on, so you could hear like a crack, and you could hear him screaming. That was terrible.
Yeah, that was terrible. And I think Brady had 25 yards passing at halftime. It just looked grim, and we were still reeling from the late Saturday night obstruction call for the Red Sox, and things were gloomy around here, to be honest. And today's a brighter day.
I don't know if I feel better about the Pats because it's a pretty weak 6-2, but at least they're in the mix, which is all you can ask for.
Well,
but
they're in the mix.
Certainly wouldn't call this team a Super Bowl contender right now.
No, and the problem with the injuries they've had is that the people that are getting injured, it's not like they're coming back. Wolfark is not coming back. Wallner, who broke his leg yesterday, is not coming back. Gerard Mayo is not coming back. So it's not like you're waiting for injured guys to get healthy. They're gone. And I'm not sure in the long haul if they can replace them.
The good things yesterday, Ridley looked good. Aaron Dobson had a couple big plays. That move he made for the touchdown was his best route of the year, I felt like.
I agree with you. And actually, another great route that he and Brady haven't hooked on before, where he came back for the ball.
Yeah.
the previous week.
Usually he forgets to come back to the ball, and it's either an interception or an incomplete pass, and Brady gets mad.
Exactly, and Brady gets mad. Brady puts the face on. So,
with that said, even though you're pumping him up right now, you trade Aaron Dobson and our first-round pick for Larry Fitzgerald right now, this second, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good.
Is that all it would take?
I don't know. I'm just saying I'd be calling them right now, dangling that. I'm sure it would take more.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be enough, but because our first-round pick's not going to be in the bottom 15. So
you subscribe to the whole win now philosophy because I feel like Brady has 3 years left.
You know, it's funny you said that because a friend of mine this morning made the same comment. With Brady's tenure of 3 to 4 to 5 years, do you pull one of those mega trades? It's just not Bill Belichick's history to do one of those mega trades, though, and give up draft picks for one player.
But how long is Belichick going to be around? Like, let's say Belichick decides in his head, I'm out when Brady's out. Then you trade Larry. Then you make the mega trade for Larry Fitzgerald. So if you're like, I'm going to be here 2-3 more years anyway. I was saying yesterday, I had some friends over watching the Pats game. If I was Brady, I would be like, look, you guys got to do something here, or else I'm retiring at the end of this year. I have plenty of money, and I'm tired of getting hit, and I'm tired of throwing
I wonder if he
young
does
guys.
things like that, though, because
I don't think he does.
You know, the fact that Walker was able to leave or was allowed to leave, and it did not appear that Brady stepped in. I wonder if he just doesn't get involved with personnel moves. If, you know, that's what he says, and maybe we have to believe him at his word that he stays out of it.
I feel like you can block something if you're the best player. Like, for instance, Chris Paul, I don't think he got Vinny No Negro fired, but he didn't stick up for him either, which is an important note, because if there's a whiff in the air that you're getting rid of your coach and you like that coach, you fight for him.
I thought you and Chris Paul worked together on that.
Well, I wanted him gone. I was going to the games. I was tired of not watching them not run plays. But I think, you know, if he'd wanted to stay Vinny Del Negro's job, he probably could have.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. There's many.
I'm sure
athletes.
Brady. Don't you think if Brady had wanted to save Wes Welker? No, I don't think he's that guy. But if he had gotten a whiff in the air about the Welker thing, don't you think he would have flipped out if he really wanted to keep Welker?
I hope so.
They're buddies, which makes it even more complicated.
Yeah, they're buddies. They vacation
together. Was weird.
I don't know, but I don't know if you got to see the Denver game yesterday. But
I watched the Denver game.
I mean, does Wes Welker look like he gets open anytime he feels like it?
He got open for us.
Yeah.
You're not enjoying Amendola?
Well, I don't know what happened. I mean, that first game.
He's hurt. He looks hurt.
Or not the first game, the game where he had like 7 or 8 catches in a row. And,
in the same drive.
Yeah, and he was terrific and unstoppable. Yeah. I don't know where that guy went. I know he's back playing. But
he had 3 catches for 15 yards yesterday.
Yeah, I know. I saw them. He just didn't seem to be getting open. I mean, the sacks that Brady incurred, they seemed to be coverage sacks. Nobody was getting open.
Wes had 6 catches for 81 yards and a touchdown.
Is that all? Just 6?
Yeah. Wes has 50 catches for 555 yards and 9 touchdowns halfway through the season.
And I guess he'd be leading our receiving core, right?
He's on pace for 100 catches. Yeah. Over 100 catches and 20 TDs.
Well, I mean,
that's a problem.
Very consistent. He hasn't missed any games, as I recall.
Oh, no, but the Broncos have played 8 games, so he's on pace for 100 catches and 18 TDs.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, Manning looks very happy to have him out there. And he seems to be his go-to guy on third down. We miss him. I mean, obviously, we miss him.
Amendola is on pace for 38 catches and 348 yards. So that's a problem.
Well, if he can stay healthy, fine. I don't know about you, but the McDaniel offense is getting a lot of criticism up here, and I'm certainly part of that. The group criticizing our offense.
We were texting back and forth about never wanting to see another 2nd down and 9 LeGarrette Blount handoff ever in my life. I just never want to see one again, ever.
Right. Yeah.
Red Sox, though. Johnny Gomes, did you have faith?
Did I think he was going to hit a 3-run homer? I thought it was as probable as whether he was going to strike out. He only seems to do one of two things. Either strikes out. I mean, he was 0 for 9 before that home run. But when he does connect, it's a monstrous home run. I mean, that ball didn't go as far as I thought because it went in the bullpen. But it seemed like a 700 footer. It was a majestic home run, didn't it?
I felt good about that at bat because my daughter was in the room at the time, and Gomes, even though she doesn't really care about the Red Sox, she loves Gomes because Gomes threw her a ball at a Dodger game, and then he hit a homer in that game, and she was in the room, and I was like, stay in the room, I need you for the luck, and she's like, oh, Gomes, that's my guy, and then he hits a homer, but I would not have taken Lance Lynn out. Would you have taken Lance Lynn out of that game?
No, I wouldn't, and you know, they reported in the paper that they almost intentionally walked Ortiz, even though they had a guy on first base, not second base.
Yeah.
So that's the call from the dugout. That's not Lance Lynn's being wild. They
just
pitched around Ortiz to get to Gomes, and then you don't leave him in the game. Strange
I
call.
really like Lance Lynn. That's the second I watched him again in the Dodgers series. We went to that game, and he looked me and my daughter. He looked really good.
Yeah.
In the game yesterday, he only threw 85 pitches. He only gave up 3 hits. We could barely get hits on him.
How about the guy getting picked off to end the game with Carlos Beltrán at the plate?
I was so focused on Holiday being on deck.
Mm-hmm.
Beltrán, whatever. I'm not that scared of Beltrán. Holiday is one of the most petrifying people we've ever had going against us in a playoff series that I can remember. I think he's going to hit a homer every time.
Yeah.
And I was just mentally going through the whole, oh God, if Beltrán gets on here, Holiday's going to win the game.
Was due. He has 16 postseason home runs, and I could just see a game-tying 2-run home run hitting going out toward right
field.
See,
I was thinking my worst case scenario was Beltrán getting on and then the Holiday game winner, 3-run homer.
Yeah.
Then we're down 3-1, and now all of a sudden it's must win tonight.
I don't know if you saw the post-game interview. Of course, it was through the translator or the interpreter, but they asked Uehara, what was he thinking? Did he get a call from the dugout? Did Ross behind the plate give him a signal? And he said no. He said he doesn't know why he threw over there. There was no signal. He hadn't even looked at first base. He just whirled and threw it over there. And I think it caught everybody off guard. It almost caught the first baseman off guard.
Is there a game in this series that you'd want to see Craig Breslow again?
No. I think he was terrific in the previous
He was great all
series.
season. I don't know. I wouldn't give up on him, but I definitely wouldn't pitch him tonight. Let's give him the night off. Felix was phenomenal, though.
Felix was tremendous.
And you know what? He's streaky. He did this during the season, right? He has these little runs. And maybe he's in one of those runs right now. I would keep riding that until something bad happens.
Well, you're exactly right. He was very streaky during the season. He had a wonderful August where he was almost unhittable, and then he kind of lost it in September.
In June and July, it was 2.75 ERA in June, 2.56 in July, and then in August, 3.64. I think he got shelled in his last start, but I kind of like Felix.
One of the post-game interview questions had to do with if there's a Game 7 and you have a choice between starting PV and Dubront, what do you do? I don't want to have a Game 7, obviously, but it's an interesting question.
Well, we won't see Buchholz again in this series, right?
No, we're not going to see Buchholz. But
do we know what happened to him?
He said his shoulder's dead, which you hate to hear a pitcher say. You don't know what that means.
He barely hit 90 yesterday. I actually thought I had a lot of respect for him last night because he didn't have it, but he gutted it out and he gave the team a couple innings. You could tell he didn't have it.
He was ready to go out for the 5th. Of course, they pinch hit for him, but if he hadn't come up in the batting order in the 4th inning, I guess he would have gone out for the 5th inning. His pitch count was down. It was only in the 60s.
John Farrell was great all season, but Game 3 is in the pantheon of worst managed Red Sox games that I can remember.
Yeah,
it's as bad as any Grady Little Jimmy Williams game.
There were 7 or 8 things you could point to and just shake your head. Yep.
Not doing the double switch was just incredible. When you know that spot's coming up in the 9th, and it's not like Saltalamacchia is Yogi Berra right now.
No, and we're not going to see Saltalamacchia tonight because Ross lately has been catching Lester. But I'm not sure I want to see Saltalamacchia again. How about you? I'd like maybe he and Breslow should take a seat at the end of the bench.
He's another guy who's streaky.
Yeah, but
right?
He has
these little
bad for the whole.
Well, that's the
playoff.
thing. He has these little 3-4 week bumps, and you feel great. And then when he goes into a funk, I don't feel like he's going to even hit the ball.
Yeah, it's an interesting team right now because obviously the guy who's in the tremendous slump is Drew, but I don't want to see him out of the lineup because he's really good in the field.
Yeah, the combo of Pedroia and Drew in the middle of the field has been great, and especially with how the Cardinals, it just seems like you need to have these fast guys. Like you just need good middle of the infield guys.
Right. I guess you ride his slump. Unfortunately, with the pitcher batting in Game 5, your 8 and 9 hitters in the lineup are basically giving you nothing.
Doesn't it remind you? It's really like it's like the sequel to Bellhorn in 2004 with the guy that just everybody's like, oh my God, this is beyond a slump. We got to get this guy to the lineup. And
do you
then
think
Bellhorn
he has a big hit coming in?
Remember Bellhorn came up huge in Game 7. I do feel like he wasn't this bad during the season.
Oh,
like
no,
at some point he's going to have a hit.
Right, he was a 248 to 250 hitter during the season. Yeah, but now, of course, obviously you're seeing the best pitchers in the playoffs. And
253 at 13 homers. The thing is, he hit for power during the season. He had 29 doubles, 8 triples, and 13 homers. So he had 50 extra base hits in 124 games. Because remember, he missed 1/4 of the season.
Right.
I just feel like at some point he's going to crank one. And
he's running
the other
out
thing
of time.
is well, I know, but so this is now 47 at bats. And he has 4 hits at 40. Like, this can't keep going. He's got to hit something.
Yeah.
I believe in you, Steve. I believe in you, Stephen Drew. I believe you're going to cut. I have more faith that he's going to have a hit than Saltalamacchia.
Yeah.
I feel like Saltalamacchia is. We've seen him do this. We've had him for a couple years. Like, he goes in these funks and he's just useless.
How about the
other
Rook?
guy?
How about
the
Rook?
I like when the Rook comes up.
Yeah, he had one bad at bat at the end of the game, but otherwise he looked pretty good out there.
The good thing with him is I like having him going against those last 2 Cardinals relievers because he can hit that 99.
Right.
You know, he's got the bat speed. Those Cardinals relievers, I mean, we knew they were going to be terrifying, but they're pretty terrifying.
That Martinez is kind of terrifying.
Jesus. Yeah, Martinez feels like he's going to finish his career with like 300 saves, or he'll be like a 20-game winner or something.
Yeah, I can see him moving into a starting role, but
he was great in Game 2.
He's pretty scary. He's only 22 years old, they said.
Yeah, he came in. I've seen him twice now in person. He annihilated the Dodgers last round, which I went to, and then I went to Game 2, and he just came in. It was freezing cold out. And he just came in. He's throwing like 98. It was ridiculous.
Wainwright is obviously the ace of their staff, despite the fact that Mock has been so good. What do you think about tonight?
We probably lose tonight.
You think so?
I don't definitely think so. I just feel like I would be a pleasant surprise if we won tonight.
Against either, I think putting Breslow aside, both Lester and Dubron have pitched very well against this lineup.
It's not the most intimidating lineup. The Cardinals are favored tonight.
They are a favorite, huh? Well,
My fear is that we've used our dudes in the bullpen. They actually got rest for their guys last night, so they're going to have their guys. And with Martinez and the closer, it's a 6-inning game for them. If they're up 2-1 in the 6th inning, we don't score again.
But Tizarro only pitched to one guy last night.
I know, but we're using these guys game after game after game.
Yeah.
That scares me a little bit. I know we have a day off tomorrow.
Yeah, we have, right. How was your heart fluttering when Lackey came out of the bullpen last night?
I had weird confidence in him. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I was freaking out when it was 2-1 because I just think the Cards, when they go into the late innings with the lead, it's your odds just are terrible.
Right.
And it seemed like they're just going to pitch around Ortiz, although they kept pitching it to him yesterday. But I can't imagine they're going to keep pitching to him. He's hitting
he gave me one of my
727.
favorite moments in World Series history last night when the cameras focused on him pulling the other 24 players down to the end of the dugout to give them a pep talk.
Yeah.
And that's what, when they interviewed Gomes after the game, he said it really motivated him. And of course, the next inning he hit the home run.
Right.
One of the funny quotes was Pedroia. They asked, what did you think of the pep talk? And he said, it was great. I didn't understand a word he said. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I think if they win the World Series with Ortiz hitting like he's hitting, he goes down all time.
All time.
I mean, it's like,
right.
It's just he goes to another level. He goes to that Bird level a little bit. Maybe not all the way to the Bird level, but he's...
Get that Cooperstown.
Yeah, this puts him in the Hall of Fame. This probably makes him... I mean, if you're looking like a list of all-time greatest Red Sox, it pushes him toward like that Ted Williams group.
Right.
I don't want to get ahead of myself.
I don't want to get ahead of myself either.
There are major stakes for him now, historically. I mean, he's going to get there anyway. He's going to be the guy that was the 04, put the team on his back guy, and they won again in 07 and 400 homers.
I just loved what he did, though, pulling the team down.
Yeah.
The team could look very flat.
Well, that's the thing, and he's been this force of nature personality, and he's come through again and again in the playoffs. It's been uncanny. And it's not like you have a ton of faith in any other guy in the lineup.
I don't think he's going to see too many pitches to hit again in game 5, 6, or whatever. Obviously, depending on if there's runners on base, but I think they're going to be pitching around him if they can. Particularly in game 5 where we don't have we don't have Napoli hitting behind him.
I can just tell you, I'm delighted every time they pitch to him.
Yeah, me too.
Wainwright's really good at pitching. Tonight's going to be a nail biter. Just, I think it's going to play out like these other games, like these last couple.
Well, the last
3-2,
couple games
4-2.
have been, as you said, nail biters. I'm sure each team feels they could have won or should have won both games, and maybe a split is the fair thing to have happened. But
well, it does feel like Game 4 made up for Game 3.
Yeah.
It feels like those two cancel each other out. And then we totally gave away Game 2. They totally gave away Game 1. And now it's a best of 3. We haven't seen a well-played game yet. Yesterday was probably the closest, but to lose because your guy gets picked off is pretty bad.
Really bad.
That's really, really bad. Yeah. And also, I thought their manager choked in that game yesterday a little bit.
But yeah, that's a good, interesting point. I thought Farrell had a bad managing effort in Game 3, and their manager not so hot yesterday in Game 4.
I was beside myself with delight when they took Lance Lynn out.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to throw like 120 pitches yesterday.
He was, when they interviewed him after the game, he was not a happy camper. Not that anybody is happy when they get taken out of the game.
He shouldn't have been happy. It's not like he was like we took out. Who did we take out in the the last Tigers game after like 85 pitches? Buchholz? We took out somebody. He was like losing steam in the last inning, and it was clear. And it was the same thing with Lackey in Game 2. You asked me if Lackey should have come out of Game 2 of the World Series, and just being there and being close and watching it, like I felt like he was losing steam. I was okay with it. I did not feel like Lance Lynn was losing steam.
You thought he was done.
I did. I felt like he was on the fringe. And by the way, Breslow came in after 3 pitches. We were like, oh my God, this guy, this is, he grounded the 3rd pitch.
I don't know if you saw Lance Lynn's facial expression after Gomes hit the home run. He got out of that dugout very quickly.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
Yeah.
That wasn't great. And I think Gomes would have had trouble hitting against him too. Anyway, all right.
Well, one more thing. I mean, we have to enjoy this.
I'm totally enjoying it.
We're a team that nobody thought would even be in the playoffs. We're now in a best of 2 out of 3 situation to win the World Series. How much better does it get than this?
I was saying that to a couple of people when I came home last weekend. They were asking me about Red Sox. What do you think? And it was just like, it was such a fun season. It was so nice to have a likable team again.
Right.
I don't think any of us thought they were going to be 2 wins away from the World Series, even though the record was good. I just didn't feel like that kind of team, but man.
Let's enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, I got to say, it's really not enjoyable to sit through these games. It's like the playoff hockey.
The games are like getting each night going to the dentist for a root canal.
I can't say I had fun last night.
No. Right.
Would you describe that experience as fun, except for the Gomes homer? I can't say I was like, oh, this is a good time.
Watching all the interviews.
Yeah, it's tough. Well, it's only going to get more tense. All right, we'll call you later in the week, win or lose.
All right, see you later.
Talk to you, Father.
$5% off. Whoa!
Thank you for downloading the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Podcenter at ESPNRadio.com.
Peace out.
Geico presents Strange Savings Stories. Astronomers detected an interstellar transmission. It stated, Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. The implications were staggering. Was the cosmos telling us we could all save hundreds on car insurance with Geico? Or did their radar merely pick up a signal from the nearby Rufus and Clyde's morning show? We may never know.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.